Matthew Darlitz, and I'm the Editor-in-Chief of The Neuropsychotherapist. The Neuropsychotherapist is a quarterly e-magazine devoted to informing psychotherapists about the latest neurobiological, psychological and somatic knowledge to enhance their clinical practice. The magazine has a multidisciplinary biopsychosocial perspective, and our hope is that this publication will give you news, reviews and the latest research from complementary fields that will be valuable to your research and to your practice. And we're also the home of the International Journal of Neuropsychotherapy. And this journal is an open access online journal that publishes articles on various aspects of integrative biopsychosocial issues related to psychotherapy. The aim of the journal is to explore the neurobiological and other underpinnings of mental states and disorders to advance the therapeutic practice of psychotherapy. So I hope that you've been enjoying these video blogs, and once again I just extend an invitation to others to come and join us and just let us know about what's happening in their area of practice or research, and we'd love to be able to feature you here on this video blog. Today I just thought it would be interesting just to let you know what's on my reading list. I'm always reading lots of books, and the one this week is Love Sense, The Revolutionary New Science of Romantic Relationships by Dr. Sue Johnson. And Dr. Sue Johnson will likely be a familiar name to you. She is the author of Emotion Focused Therapy. And as you can imagine, the book is very much on emotion-focused therapy, but it's written for lay people, and so this is the sort of book that you could recommend, to your clients if you're a couples therapist or you're working with someone that is having relationship problems, and that's probably 90% of the people that you work with. It's just full of great stories, and Sue just writes in a very easy way. It's a very easy read. You could, with confidence, recommend it to clients. They would have no problem absorbing the material. And it's just an excellent way to introduce clients to attachment theory and how attachment theory plays out in adult love relationships. So getting a lot of value out of that. Emotion-focused therapists, you would get a lot out of this, and no doubt you would know about this book anyway. But anyone else interested in how attachment theory plays out in adult love relationships, this is a good read. Now, as we normally do each week, we're going to go across to Sydney to hear from Richard Hill. Thanks, Richard.
Well, hello everybody, Richard Hill from the Mind Science Institute, coming to you again this week on What's Interesting. And I found something that was rather curious. Now, Science Signalling, 27th of May, so right now, Volume 7, Issue 327, Stress Stops the Blood Flowing. Now this was interesting, and it's talking not only about stress, but also I think they're looking at, it was a rat model experiment, but on environmental stress, but general stress to the body, and looking at the blood flow that goes on in the brain. And what they looked at was the nature of the way stress altered the vasodilation in the brain and in brain areas. I made some notes here. Let me see. The neuronal activity. Now, that you have an upregulation of neuronal activity in a particular area, so that temporarily increases the blood flow to meet the increased metabolic demand. So obviously you have more activity, you need more oxygen, you need more various things going on, and it's astrocytes, of course, which are quite important in tending the area from the blood area through the blood-brain barrier and bringing these important elements down to the neurons so they can function, and they have the various necessities. Now, of course, the important things is the ionic flow, the calcium and the potassium, your potassium plus and your calcium 2 plus, which depolarizes the experience for nerves and allows for action potential. So what happens when we have environmental stuff? Well, what happens when it's good, when everything's working well? It evokes a cascade of calcium activity in the astrocytes, which allows the astrocytes to release potassium into the extracellular space, and having increased potassium in the extracellular space changes the amount of movement of potassium into the cell so that we depolarize the neurons and we get activity. Now this happens because in the sense of blood flow, where the extra potassium in the extracellular space, it relaxes the smooth muscle cells around the arterioles, and that leads to vasodilation. That means to increase blood flow, and therefore the whole metabolistic process is enabled and given energetic focus and given energetic play. So that's what happens in the good case. Now what they found was under stress, and they used a variety of stress. They used electrical stimulation. They used a bunch of aspects. It's difficult because it's rat experiments, but I think we can probably extrapolate it out to broad-based stress of the tissue is going to lead to a situation where it's the glucocorticoid receptors, looking at the amygdala and the nature of and the hippocampus of the glucocorticoid receptors, which are important for the body to understand it's under stress and how it's going with stress. And if you don't have the vasodilation, you're not having the response and the reactivity to the stressful situation, and stressed rats and stressed brains are going to overreact or continue reacting or not be altered in their acting, because remember, in the amygdala, a lot of what calms the amygdala down is the activity in the GABAergic neurons. So you want a lot of activity going on, not only in the glutamatergic processes of action potential, but also the GABAergic actions of calming the processes. So what you need either way is vasodilation. You need activity, you need more oxygen, you need more nutrients, and all this comes from an unstressed system. The more stressed the system, the more restricted and constrained and undilated the vaso system is. Really interesting. Go check that one out. And what's going on? Where's my other notes? Good friends of mine. This is something, oh gosh, I wish I was going to be there. And I've been invited to this wonderful conference, although unfortunately I'm double booked. It's the International Conference of Coping, Resilience and Hope in Hyderabad in India, and that's the 14th to the 16th of December. Now, I do a lot of work with this. This is a strengths-based resilience social work group based in Brisbane in Sydney, and they do things all around the world. I'm so disappointed not being able to go, but then I'm really excited because I'll be at the Ericsson conference and I'm speaking there on my curiosity approach. But they've got the opportunity for presenters and for papers and also for posters and also for some videos. Check them out. You'll see the video, the contact below. Abstracts close 15th of August, so there's a bit of time to get something in there. This is a great group of people. They're wonderful. Venkat Pula is one of the central organisers and my good friend. And there's lots of other people who I've got to know, particularly in that subcontinent area in India and Pakistan and all those wonderful places. As you know, I was in Nepal a little while ago and Sarajevo, so a little while before that with these people. So that's a really good, what a great title, the International Conference on Coping, Resilience and Hope. Wouldn't you want to be speaking there? So that's all for the moment. That's what's going on this week. As always, be creative, participate in the experience and do wonderful things. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Richard. And as usual, we'll have those details on the website below this video. Now, as we also usually do, we're going to go across to California, where we have Dr. Van Nuys, who runs Shrink Wrap Radio, a very popular psychology podcast, and we're going to find out what's been happening on his show this week. Thanks, Dr. Dave.
Hello again, Matthew. It's Dr. Dave here again from Shrink Wrap Radio to tell you about my latest podcast interview. It's with Clara E. Hill, that is Dr. and Professor Clara E. Hill. She is a professor at the University of Maryland and a longtime researcher who has specialized in outcome studies of psychotherapy and also studies of dreams and their uses and effectiveness in the context of psychotherapy. She's been doing this sort of research for about 30 years and has built up both quite a reputation for herself and and quite a bit of published literature. So I think many people in your audience will be interested in her work. Also, she is going to be one of the keynote speakers at the upcoming International Association for the Study of Dreams conference. This is an annual conference, and it's being held in Berkeley, California, June 4th through June 8th, 2014. So maybe we'll see some of you folks there. So back to you, Matthew.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dave. Well, I hope there's something in there that's been of interest to you, and until next week, it's goodbye from the neuropsychotherapist.